Well, a senior US lawmaker has questioned President Donald Trump's approach of imposing tariffs on India for buying Russian oil. Congressman Brad Sherman highlighted how China, which is Russia's biggest oil buyer, faces no sanctions. Neither does Hungary, which imports 90% of crude from Russia. And this comes while India faces a US tariff duty of 18%. The lawmaker has claimed that Trump is singling out India. Sherman says that Trump is grasping for excuses to slap outrageous tariffs on India, and even goes on to say that China, which is Russia's biggest oil buyer, has not been hit with sanctions tied to purchasing Russian oil, though it has been hit for other reasons. Also, Hungary, which imports 90% of its crude from Russia, does not face any tariffs whatsoever. On the other hand, India gets just 21% of its crude from Russia and faces 18% tariff duty, unquote. Sherman's post also comes days after India and the US announced an interim trade deal. Under this arrangement, US has reduced the tariff rate from 50% to 18%. And with this, it claims New Delhi has even agreed to stop buying from Moscow. This is the claim that's been made by them. The US also said that it was rescinding a punitive 25% duty on all imports from India over its purchases of Russian oil. This was tagged on top of a 25% reciprocal tariff rate. The Trump administration now wants India to boost energy purchases from the US and potentially Venezuela. Data cited by Reuters even suggests that Russian crude shipments in January made up the smallest portion of India's oil imports since late 2022. India having imported about 1.1 million barrels per day of Russian crude in January, which is also the lowest since November of 2022. January imports from Russia fell by 23.5% from December and by about a third compared to a year earlier. The timing of US lawmakers' post also hints at a relatively lighter stance on China over its Russian oil purchases is significant, and that is because experts are concerned about any potential change in US policy towards Taiwan. Also, Trump recently said that he was discussing potential arms sales to Taiwan with Chinese President Xi Jinping, which raised concerns in Taipei as the island democracy relies on US backing in the face of China's territorial claims. Well, these comments also come ahead of Trump's planned visit to China in the month of April.